Hey, Jeff from Team Triple Tack, and I wanted to discuss the new Solfachord cards that came out recently. I've been interested in this deck for quite a while now, like ever since this deck first came out in the TCG. I picked up the cards and I wanted to play this, but I always found the issue with this deck is it couldn't really do much, but with the new support, it kind of does something now, and I wanted to discuss what this deck sort of does. And I also want to get other people's opinion because even though I have a general idea for what this deck can do, I don't have like a super clear vision as to what this deck is supposed to do, if you get what I'm saying. But anyways, I want to quickly go over the new cards. I'm not going to go too in depth because I'm assuming the people watching this have already seen the new support knows what it does, but anyways, I'll quickly go over the new stuff. So first we have Primoria. This is I think your best normal summon in the deck now. Oh yeah, not even I think it just straight up is, and it's on summon it searches any Solfachord card, and I'll show you the card that 90% of the time you will be searching. But on top of its search, it can also add back any Solfachord card from the face-up extra deck or in the grave once you link summon one of the Grand Solfachord link monsters, being the Link 2 or Link 3. And let me show you the new spell Happiness. What this card does, kind of broken, not gonna lie. Its first effect, being the best, is discard one, which is not for cost, and you search two Solfachord Pendulum monsters with different scales from deck to hand. And then you can special summon one of them, or not even one of them. You can special summon any number of them up to the number of monsters your opponent controls plus one, which is kind of insane. So you get a guaranteed special summon on top of searching two. Pretty insane. Like this card feels kind of custom, and also a keynote about it is you can use each effect once per turn. So you can use this card up to 3 times per turn. The second main effect they use is the second being you get an additional pendulum. You use the first two quite often. I don't find myself using the third effect too much, which is the special two. But what I also wanted to say was, so normally how you play this deck is you somehow find a way to special or normal Primoria. You use its effect to search this, which will search two, and you then somehow find a way to link summon into any of your Solfachord link monsters, and you use this effect to grab your link, or not your link, sorry, your Solfachord spell, Happiness, Engrave, and then you just use the second effect to pen summon again. It's I really like how the deck plays now. And oh, I might as well show you the new pendulum as well. Being I like to call this card Egg for whatever reason. I just think it's funny. But this card it's another extender for the deck. It's kind of like this one, but instead of needing a Solfachord in the scale, it's just if you control no monsters or if the only monsters you control are Solfachords, you can special summon this card from hand. And on top of being an extender just from hand, it can also special other Solfachords from hand, or from the grave or face-up extra deck by tributing this card. Uh, to special from hand, you actually don't even need to tribute this card. So I find uh, a lot of situations like when I have this card for and I need extension, it feels really good to have this card. But I think it's just a 2-of because I don't think you can run it at any higher. But yeah, a keynote I also want to point out about this card is it's actually an end piece because it can also negate your opponent's cards or effects while you control one of the Solfachord Link monsters just on res, which is pretty insane. Just and I think it even works on cards like Dark Ruler or even Droplet as well, because it's not even in response, it's just on res. It's just a free negate. Super insane. And I think you want to end on this card as well as one of your links. So after Solfachord, I want to add a little keynote to Primoria, which I think is a little cool effect that kind of helps play through Fuwalos, and it's helped me like once or twice now, which is her first effect being while you have a Solfachord cards with even and odd scales in your pendulum zones, your activated effects cannot be negated. So let's say your opponent drops Fu on you and you're just playing on. Like Ash is just practically it's just a non-factor. But I don't think this works for Imperm. I don't know. I've never tried with Imperm, but I know for a fact Ash like is practically turned off with this card, which I really like. It's a little cool detail I like. I said I wasn't gonna go in depth, but I kind of did. Well, ignoring that. Um, the real reason I want to discuss was uh, when it comes to the rest of the deck, ratios and also like what other sub-engine or tech cards should this deck run? Uh, Down here in my side, I have like a whole bunch of like stuff I've been debating on playing or not. I also been debating on playing 2 or 3 Cutia, or I don't think it's worth playing 3 Cutia. I think I might go back up to 2. It just depends on like what cards from here I would be playing. But for now, I'm just testing on 1, and 1 seems to be fine, just because uh, you rather draw Primoria, I think, over Cutia. You'll just go through Cutia in your combo, and you don't need to open this. But I want to discuss, first of all, Cambi. Cambi is a new card that came out in like the last main set, I'm pretty sure. And what this card is, it's an extender on top of a starter, where if this where you can special summon it for free as long as you control no monsters or only fairies, which this entire deck is. And what you can do is you can tribute this card from field and special summon one level 1 fairy from deck, which 90% of the time will be Primoria. Or if you want, you could also summon Cutia. The only issue I have with this card is the fact that it locks you into fairies, and there isn't really too many good generic fairies for the extra deck, except for something like Appaloosa. But of course, we all know Appaloosa is banned in the TCG. So even though I like this card a lot, since it's a starter and extender, I'm very iffy on playing this card just because there's not much to do when it comes to your end board under a fairy lock. I also tried looking into Sanctuary in the Sky in that archetype, but it just doesn't seem good enough to be playing. Uh, continuing on. Uh, Diviner. I like Diviner a lot. It's can easily be added onto the deck. My only issue is it's taking up your normal slot like quite a bit. Like you rather like it's fighting against Primoria for your normal and also Cutia, even though so I have it as a 1 of here. Uh, I find it's really awkward to have this card in hand when you also have like another normal that this card is trying to summon. It's just like, wow, now this card is turning my hand from like pretty good to kind of bricky. It's I'm very iffy on Diviner, and that's why I rather run Cambi because this can just special itself. But at the same time, the Fairy Lock, it's also very annoying. So Yeah. Uh, I also wanted to talk about the Solfachord cards. So, when it comes to the Melodious cards, the thing I have against them is they don't easily bridge into the Solfachord stuff. And that's only because when you go for beyond using the Melodious cards, uh, typically you want to grab like when you're level 1 Solfachord cards, which the Melodious cards, like their scales just cannot pen summon those cards out. And by then, if you didn't use Ostinato, your normal summon is just taken by Refrain. And I just found like it's kind of just awkward, kinda. Like I really just wish that Melodious could go into Silvercord, but it doesn't. Like you just go into Beyond and you can search a Silvercord, but you have no way of summoning that Silvercord out, and it just feels pretty bad. Unless if you go for like the this Silvercord, like the level 2, and you also go for like the Link 2, but it doesn't make sense because you're not really getting anything from it. It isn't good. It isn't good. And I just it's weird. It's weird. That's the most I can say about it. Uh, and for the other Soulful Chord cards that I'm not playing, I tried all these, but these are like just like extending your combo for no reason. There's like practically no reason to be playing these really. Unless if you wanted to use the Link 2's effect, but nah, it's just not necessary. You can easily just avoid using these cards. It's so easy not to play these cards. You could maybe make a case for the level 3 just because it's a free bounce back to hand, only for spell traps, but you can easily just not play this card. Most of the time it's just a brick. Honestly, just I would say best to avoid it for now. This card I kind of want to play just because with the Kulia, it kind of works. It's just like a banish, but it's very it doesn't feel too great. Like it's just it kind of sucks. It's just yeah, it kind of just sucks, but you could make a case to play this card for sure. I think. Finally, I also want to talk about the Fiendsmith stuff, just because I think it's definitely the best engine I think to add on top of this. I personally won't be playing this just because I want to be playing something that I'll be playing at locals, and I don't have the Fiendsmith stuff, and I don't think I'll be getting them for a while unless if they make reprints for Lacrima or Requiem, but or even Track too. I'm really hoping they reprint that sometime soon. But I think if you want to play this deck like the most competitively like viable way, I think it would just be like a list that looks somewhat like this on top of just like a Fiendsmith engine. And when it comes to these cards, uh, I don't think you can play Camby if you're playing with Fiendsmith. It's just not possible. Diviner, you could. It's just sometimes it's awkward with your other normals, but you could probably find a way. And I think that's it I want to discuss. I also have a game I want to show. I can cut to that real quick. So here I'm going to show you a game I had against Vanquish Soul with the new Canine cards coming out. Uh, at this point, I was still playing Herald at the orange light. You can make a case to play this card, but I don't think it's too worth to be playing, just because of the fact that you have to pitch a fairy, which feels very costly for this deck, because it's a pendulum deck. But if you like, it's debatable. You could definitely debate on playing this card. But here, pretty much my opponent goes full combo, and I think I'm just gonna let this game play out, and I'll stop commentating. Here's one other replay I want to show off. It's a basic Solfachord combo starting off with Primoria. I made this combo specifically to play around Nib, and also have Kulia in the in scale because I think it has the best synergy with the Link 3. But I'll just show you the combo, show you what it does. So starting off with Primoria, you normal summon it. Well, first I have to let the opponent draw. So first, normal summon Primoria. Primoria effect to search happiness. That's like the best search target for Primoria. Here you go, happiness effect, search 2. The 2 being Cutia and Gracia. And here I always prefer to special Gracia because I want to search Elegance off it. So here, search Elegance. And here I go Elegance, putting QT in the face-up extra deck to place the 2 new pendulum cards, being Solfachord and Primoria. And here I just pen for 1, Cutia. Here I don't really know what the best search target is. I think maybe you just search Butia off this, but I don't really know yet. I don't really know what you're supposed to search off that. But here I also chain Primoria just to chain block because it's just always good to chain block. And here I go Link 2 into the Link 2 Solfachord card, proccing Primoria effect to add back from grave or face up extra. Here I always add back happiness to get that extra pen. And here I pen out 2. And here I should have went Chainlink 1, Link 2, Chainlink 2 Primoria. I don't know why I did it the way I did, but here I search for Kulia off this, and I just add back Primoria. And here I scale Kulia. That way the Link 3 has a better target to special summon because you want to also use your Solfachord effect during your opponent's turn. And typically, if you just have Primoria in your scale, you can't really utilize both your Link 3 effect and Solfachord effect. It has to be either one or the other. So by putting Kulia in the scale, now you can use both these effects on top of still having Kulia. Well, the Pendulum Kulia effect. And then after here, I just go for Robin. And here you just end on, this is 2 bounces with Robin. This is a pop with Kulia, 2 Omnis, and then after guaranteed follow-up in hand. I think that's probably the best way to play this because you also play through Nib with this combo because at all points this effect can always proc to negate whatever monster effect they try and activate in hand. And here you also have this to also negate Nib. But I think by the time you summon this, Nib has already been live, so I guess the only real thing is just this effect. But yeah, that's the combo I wanted to show off. I think there's maybe something better you can do maybe to still play around Nib. I don't think maybe you're not supposed to search this. Maybe there's a better target with it for this, but I still need to figure that out for sure. Alright, so that's really it for the discussion. I was really just hoping that I could get some comments with ideas on what this deck can really do and what I could change about my deck. But I guess till then, that's the end of the video. I will see you guys later. Peace.